Spill it. You know what? Toss it behind. We are live.
We're live.
Yeah. So let's readjust some of this stuff while we're live, because, it's always going to be a bit wonky at the beginning.
Always at the beginning.
That also shows our audio, so we could turn that up. We can also mute, share stream. There we go. I'm glad that the camera finally focused.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. What do you want to start with this conversation? I'll let you take first pick.
Where do we begin?
Yeah, that's a very hard topic to pick there, huh?
Indeed it is. This is big. This is big. You can't miss on your first live.
Yeah, okay.
But the big topic I was hoping to talk about was the studio behind the hit series Arcane, League of Legends. Studio Frisch has recently expressed interest in adapting Takehito Inoue's Vagabond, one of the biggest mangas ever, something that almost every reader has deemed unadaptable.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say every reader, because I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Vagabond is a manga based off of a real-life samurai named Musashi Miyamoto that travels his exploits exploring feudal Japan. It started publication in 1998 to gobs of praise, mostly because not only of its story, but of its artwork. The quality of its artwork is borderline museum-worthy. I would go that far. I would even go as far as to say that in some cases it is more aesthetically pleasing than Berserk. And I love Berserk.
Yeah, you talk nonstop.
I talk nonstop about Berserk. It's my favorite thing ever. Never mind manga, but yeah. Vagabond, its artwork is on a whole nother level. That's why I was so taken aback and stunned that a studio, after all of this time, actually expressed interest in adapting it. The story of Musashi Miyamoto is one that has been told by many creative minds. There was a book published in 1939 called Musashi. It is still in print today. It is big, a classic. Folks out of Japan cannot get enough of his story.
So where did you find all this resource? Was you just traveling along and then you thought about
There was a lot of knowledge I acclimated about Vagabond prior to this announcement being made, prior to this statement. An adaptation of Vagabond has not been confirmed, nor has one ever been attempted, and that's for good reason. Inoue's dedication to making this manga as detailed and as specific as he possibly could make it has not gone unnoticed. Here is my own gripe with it. It's actually the reason why I don't read Vagabond and don't intend to read Vagabond.
Oh, no.
It has been on hiatus for the past 9 years.
God! 9 years? 9 years?
9 years.
Oh, my God.
9 years.
Man. So sorry.
On 9 years, there has not been a new chapter released, and Vagabond had a streak of hiatuses leading up to this big one. Berserk had their streaks of hiatuses too, but never one like this. And it's kind of because Inoue himself, the author, he's a perfectionist to a fault. It's to the point that he's intimidated by working on it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Intimidation kind of sucks.
Yeah, it feels bad for him. But at the same time, I get it. With Vagabond's quality, even he understands how big of a deal it is. But because he understands it, he has not worked on it since 2015. But for it to be adapted by a studio with showrunners that have been as amazing as the ones behind Arcane League of Legends, that I think would be a terrific form of flattery. My question is, how much of Vagabond would they be willing to cover? because there's over 300 chapters, which I'm amazed that's even the case, considering how detailed and sophisticated every single panel of this manga is. Like, Vagabond is one of three mangas that readers of the seinen genre consider the big three. There's Vagabond, Berserk, and Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga has had no trouble receiving an adaptation. One of them's on Netflix right now, and it's got 2 seasons in the books.
Okay, that's
Berserk
good.
is not unadaptable, but every adaptation so far has failed miserably. But there have been 2 fan adaptations that have been released this year.
Sometimes the adaptation from a fan is so much better than what it can actually be from an actual studio.
Yeah, I once came across this fan adaptation on one of my favorite RPGs of all time, Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic from BioWare.
I knew it.
You knew I was taking this here, and I need to take it here because not enough people know. Smash City Studios has dedicated 19 years to adapting Knights of the Old Republic and its sequel, Knights of the Old Republic 2, into a movie trilogy. They actually made 7 movies because of how much they covered in Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Yeah.
They've taken to remastering some of their movies, though not all of them. And they're still churning out content to this day, which, even though they've gone so under the radar, I cannot help but admire their dedication to their craft.
Yeah, I mean, that is a lot. Like, so sorry. By the way, while I'm looking down, I'm just checking out the stream. So
We're
please.
just keeping this from going volatile.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just editing and doing all that stuff. So if I'm not looking like I'm paying attention, I'm so sorry. It's nothing personal.
There's a lot of moving parts at once. Besides, I got complete faith in my boy here.
Thank you for having complete faith.
You're welcome for it.
That's not what I want to do. But about the game adaptation of the Star Wars of the Old Republic, what was your favorite part about it?
My favorite part about it, there was a lot of variation when it came to choices. Like, even though the protagonist of Knights of the Old Republic is not provided a voice outside of a few grunts here and there, like Link.
Like Link.
Like Link. He has voice lines, although they're not voice, but every single voice line, darn near every single voice line, will result in a different outcome depending on who's being talked to. Like, without giving too much away, at the very beginning of the game, he has to infiltrate this swoop race, this speeder bike, a race, in order to rescue one of his allies. Now, as for getting into that race, you have 2 different biker gangs to team up with. One that is relatively peaceful and one that is unbelievably chaotic.
So which one do you prefer the most then? The peaceful or the chaotic?
When it comes to games that have a stance on morality, when you can go in between good and evil, I do as best as I can to keep my path as neutral as possible. Keeping it as neutral as possible, I wouldn't go with the chaotic side. Luckily, I had the ingenious idea of playing this game 3 times over. One with a neutral path, one with a light path, and one with a dark path. And a lot of the writing around it likes to subvert expectations. Like, no matter what stance you take, you're not always going to get what you're expecting out of it.
Well, and I think that's the thing with games that allows you to choose. No matter what you do, at some point you're going to end up picking either too much of the right path, chaotic, and don't get me wrong, I love that, but it kind of sometimes is limited of what your ending could be.
Yeah.
And especially with AI now, it could be much better because we could have so many different options and different changes to endings.
The thing with both KOTOR games is that I see the potential for several endings,
Yeah,
but in both games, there are only two definitive ones.
and that kind of sucks. But that's a game has to be a game.
At the same time, I kind of understand Star Wars has had this whole thing about absolute goods and evils, light sides and dark sides. But the thing with Knights of the Old Republic is it always likes to play on that. The main villain in the second game has the ultimate goal of destroying the Force. Isn't that insane?
The whole Force, and don't get me wrong, I'm not much of a Star Wars person, so knowing as much
it's forgivable, but the reason why she wants to destroy the Force is because she thinks people can only be free without its influence. She sees it as something that is neither good nor evil, but is constantly meddling, since it's always striving for balance.
So, like a very bad example, like alcohol is neither good nor bad. It's in the person's
It's
hand.
very subjective. It's actually a perfect analogy for this.
Thank you. I thought so. So. But you should probably also describe what the Force is for people that haven't.
For people who aren't attuned, the Force is essentially this sort of life energy in Star Wars that certain people can sense more than others. And ones that can sense it better can use it with specific powers. Like sometimes they can move objects telekinetically. Sometimes they can strangle other people with it. They can zap lightning bolts out of their fingertips. They can steal life energy from other people, which we don't see in the movies until the sequel trilogy. But that was well after that power had already been established, though.
Don't forget about Force Heal. That's the only thing I really knew about the Force, because I watched a reel of saying I have the high ground, Anakin.
Yeah.
The rest of my mouth. Are you kidding me? It's the whole point of me go to the dark side.
Yeah. Force healing kind of defeats the entire point of Star Wars' best character, Anakin Skywalker. His entire character arc, the reason why he goes from Anakin Skywalker to Darth Vader, is because he wants the power to prevent death. So when you introduce a power like Force healing, that means he betrayed the entire Jedi Order and slaughtered so many of his allies, children included, for nothing. And that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
Yeah,
Force healing was even a power in the original continuity. And even then it was still kind of, why is this here? Why is this here? Yeah, so if force healing is to stay there, you gotta attach some strings.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just having your cake and eeting it too. And nobody likes to have their cake and eat it too.
Don't get me wrong, I like to have my cake and eat it too. Well, speaking of movies, me and H watched a movie not very recently, but
recently enough.
Yeah.
Recently enough, we decided to see Bad Boys for Life, starring Will Smith as Mike Lowry. And seeing this movie kind of makes me wish I saw other Bad Boys movies besides number 2.
Yeah.
Because that was the only one I saw going into it. And a lot of the plot around this movie kind of depends on knowledge from Bad Boys Ride or Die. But because this movie also provides context for itself with stuff that was introduced in Bad Boys Ride or Die, it also kind of spoils that movie retroactively.
Well, but also it did feel like a new movie going into it. It didn't feel like I was watching the trilogy.
It didn't feel like it did feel independent, but at the same time, watching the prior movies isn't necessary. But after watching this, it kind of felt like I would have been appreciating it more if I had.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, like, great movie. I would recommend to watch it. 10 out of 10. Probably not by the time we're uploading this live stream. It's not going to be in theaters. Maybe 10.
It's out of the one I work at, though.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, it's pretty much out at this point. But like,
It's vanishing. It's dropping out in places, but hopefully you can catch it on streaming or DVD.
yeah,
Assuming you care for DVD. Anymore.
great movie. There was one part that I absolutely loved. It was the ending.
The ending.
Let me say, when the ending was so funny, thinking about it now, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, I would have probably done the same thing if I was Will Smith.
Yeah, if you're about to go to sleep and you're thinking about that movie late at night and you just so happen to remember that team, you are going to wake up people in your home because you are going to be laughing your tail off just thinking about it. It is that kind of ending.
Yeah, it is that kind of ending. So
But it's
please
an
do
ending
watch.
that Bad Boys earns for sure.
Oh, absolutely. It had enough action. It had enough drama. Oddly enough, it was very dramatic.
Yeah, it hit more emotional beats than I was expecting it
Yeah,
to.
I was like, especially like when you think of Will Smith, you think of high intense action movie,
Yeah.
sci-fi. I'm like,
I think of his role in Hitch most often.
yeah,
And Men in Black.
Men in Black.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember that planet one with his son.
After Earth.
Yeah,
After Earth.
Yeah, that's a good one.
After Earth. After Earth's a bit polarizing.
It is, but that's what I was talking about, more sci-fi. It looks like that we have a special guest.
We got a guest.
We are currently live streaming. Yeah. No, it's okay.
It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Sorry about that.
When we have a chance, we can make introductions later, but
Yeah,
there'll be a time and place. Trust me.
don't worry. Okay, well, what else did we have on our agenda today? Because we talked about Bad Boys 4. And like, don't get me wrong, it's kind of hard to talk about a movie if people haven't watched it.
Yeah.
And it's because I don't want to spoil it, and that's the main issue. Is
Yeah,
spoiling the
talking about it enough, talking about where it peaks and where it valleys without giving away too much of any specific scene. That is the challenge when it comes to talking about a movie to a live audience that may wish to see that movie.
Yeah, I mean,
Go watch Bad Boys for Life if you really, really want to. And if anything from this discussion encourages you, please.
but watch the other 3 first. Make sure
You'd
you
be
get to
doing
watch
yourself
the-
a favor.
Yeah, we
You'd
didn't
be
do
doing
that.
yourself a favor.
We done.
We goofed. We goofed.
I won't lie, we did. We goofed hard, but I'm glad that we got the opportunity to watch it.
Yeah. On the subject of movies with comedy and emotion kind of balancing it out, that kind of prompted a thought I had the other day. There's a Transformers movie on the horizon. Transformers
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
One that goes all the way back to the beginning. The origin of the war between the Autobots and the Decepticons. I see a lot of potential here. But with the marketing, it has been an abundance of quip after quip, wisecrack after joke, and it's got me cautious. I see the potential for a lot of emotional beats to be hit here, especially with the foundation of the Autobots and the Decepticons.
Oh.
I really hope they don't mess that up.
Okay, hear me out. Like, yes, Transformers, great. But how they have the Transformers looking in this movie, since it's a what? And
It's
animated?
computer generated animation.
Yeah. It looks kind of funky.
Yeah, it looks
When
odd.
you get used to like seeing the actual Transformer, I want to say actual because Transformers was a TV show,
Yeah,
then movie. But,
yeah.
you know, actual mechanic of a Transformer.
When seeing the photorealistic version
Yeah.
in the Bay saga,
Yeah.
the Michael Bay saga, Michael Bay, who is also behind Bad Boys, just to tie a thread there. A part of me yearns for photorealism in this movie. A part of me also wants to maybe back away from it a little. For those of you who don't know, Transformers, one of their generations was Beast Wars. This was actually one of the biggest pioneers in computer animation ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Beast Wars Transformers released in 1996.
Jesus.
The only 2 CG properties I can think of that came before that were Toy Story in 95
Yeah.
and Reboot in 94. which is still on an unresolved cliffhanger. Fix that.
I don't think we're going to be that popular enough to suggest a fix of a movie.
I'm going to demand it regardless of how popular we are.
No, that's perfectly fine.
There are some things that simply need to happen. One of those needs happened in the form of X-Men 97.
Ooh, yeah. I haven't
watched it either, but I know for a fact that the original airing, the one that actually aired in 1997, also ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
and they've been spending this new one, X-Men 97, resolving it. They even got most of the original cast from that show back, which that's just so sweet.
It is.
That's so sweet. Like, the only cast member I didn't think returned was Cyclops. I can't remember the name of his actor. I don't know whether or not he just didn't want to come back
or something, yeah.
Or maybe he died in the years in between. I don't know, but that's a grim thought. But the man who they cast for Cyclops is probably my favorite voice actor in the entire industry. His name is Ray Chase.
You don't think you're a great voice actor?
I'm not in the industry.
Okay, fair enough. But like you said, entire world.
No, Ray Chase is my favorite voice actor in the entire industry. That's what I said.
Okay.
Ray Chase, if you can't remember, he is the voice of Noctis.
Oh, okay.
He was also the voice of Bruno Bucciarati in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Tengen Uzui in Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, and Iwabe in Boruto Naruto Next Generations. That's just off the top of my head. Oh, he was also Brother Nier in Nier Replicant.
I haven't watched that.
But you've seen me play it a little.
Yeah, I was like, I definitely seen you play it.
You've seen me play it. Probably not enough to remember that it was Ray Chase.
Yeah, I was like, definitely not enough.
Yeah.
You also got to remember, it's been like years.
Yeah, that was years ago. But yeah, I love Ray Chase, and I love seeing him show up in stuff I like. It's just such a blast.
Well, that's great to hear. I guess it's my turn to pick a topic.
Right? I guess it is.
Yeah, hold on. Let me take a peek of our little.
Let me peek at our list.
Yeah, I was like, I was not prepared. What do you mean about the Discord channel on live streams? Was there like a reason behind it? Did you want to talk about like our channels in general? Like, y'all may know me as D on this channel, but I am also Crazy Reptile. My gaming channel is gonna be in the description down below. This is H.
I have the YouTube profile, The Dude. I have a sunglasses emoji for the profile, and the name could not have fit better.
Yeah,
The Dude. Recently, I've kind of been shifting more towards uploading some of my own personal gameplay. I've taken on this streak, actually, of uploading some of my computer Soul Calibur fights using the custom characters.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and I also have a track record of giving them ridiculous titles. Allow me to read off some of my favorites.
Oh, some of his favorite. Okay.
Yeah, some of my favorite titles for my videos. Oh, a CPU fight between my custom characters for Noctis from Final Fantasy 15 and Brother Nier from Nier Replicant. I titled it With Regards to Ray Chase. With regards to Ray Chase. Because he voices both characters, I made them fight each other.
Yeah, okay. But the kiss at the end just, I guess, shifts.
It sells it.
Yeah.
It sells it.
No, that's fine. We gotta definitely, start gaming a little bit together at some point.
Yeah, for sure. We gotta team up one of these days.
So, do you want to tell them what your usual upload days are, or are you just gonna say, check out The Dude?
I pretty much just upload whenever I feel like it. Like all of the CPU fights I have on my channel, like I have this series where Spawn takes on clown characters, since he hates clowns.
Yeah.
He took on Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter. He took on Kefka from Final Fantasy VI. He took on the clown Pennywise from It. He took on Ronald McDonald and lost horribly. You lost horribly to Ronald McDonald.
Well, if you guys want to see random fights like Spawn fighting Ronald McDonald,
Nonsense like that, I'm your guy.
yeah, the dude
I'm
is
your guy.
perfect for you. I think this camera is a little too high up, so I'm gonna edge it just a little. There we go.
Perfect.
Sorry, we're still trying to adjust things along the way. I know
we're learning as we go.
Yeah, it's like I know we're about 25 minutes in, but we gotta figure something out to try to make everything feel nice. But I think if you guys have the chance, I'm gonna try to live stream Monster Hunter, especially since Monster Hunter Wild is coming out soon. I feel so excited.
I feel your excitement. Did you know that Monster Hunter once had a crossover boss fight with Final Fantasy? I found out.
Really?
Yeah.
I knew that they had a crossover with The Witcher.
Yeah.
That was the one.
Yeah, the one from Final Fantasy, they welcomed one of their signature monsters, the Behemoth. You fight a lot of these in Final Fantasy 15, including one in order to get your chocobos, one called Deadeye. The Behemoths.
Yeah. If you watch I remember that.
You're remembering the Behemoths. If you've seen any of his playthrough of Final Fantasy 15, you'll remember the Behemoth.
And I also will be doing a sleepwalk. I will be playing the game until at least, what do you think, 50%, maybe 100, 50 to 100. It's going to be as long as possible, I should say.
Yeah, at the very least, come to think of it, one of my goals with my After the Story playthrough of Final Fantasy 15, I've only gone through its story twice, but I've got a lot of hours, as you know.
Yeah.
The point is, I wanted to level up as high as I could so I can take on one of their super bosses, the Adamantis, which is a turtle the size of a mountain. The Adamantis shows up in other Final Fantasies, but not like it does in 15.
So what happens if I defeat the Adamantis not at max level?
Well, here's a secret about the Adamantis. You can actually beat him in one hit, provided that you know exactly what spell to cast. You have to equip a weapon you unlock in Chapter 13. And then you hold on the Warp Strike button, and then you cast the spell Holy. They even have a unique death animation for the Adamantis succumbing to Holy.
Okay.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of unique stuff around the Adamantis boss fight. Like, there's unique parry animations. Like, there's this one where Noct will climb up on top of its shell, hand off some of his own weapons to the rest of the party, and then they'll all crash down on top of his head. Or when he summons the Astral Titan, he walks up to the Adamantis and he punches him in the face 3 times before dipping.
Before, like, deucing out. Yeah. No, okay. Well, yeah, I will definitely try to do that. I'm definitely, I really want to complete a game on my channel.
Yeah.
And I really want to do challenges and do fun things. So definitely let us know what y'all would like this channel to talk about and do. And go check out our other channels. They're pretty awesome. I would say definitely pretty sweet.
I enjoy them.
We do have a few toxic people, but they're joking around.
We're just having our own fun.
Yeah, for real. And then streams. I think we should try to do like streams on Tuesdays, whether they're days, afternoons. It's getting iffy a little. We both have lives, so streams are not going to be concrete just yet, but we'll do our darn best.
We'll work for it.
Well, is there anything else you want to talk about? Like, I know we're talking about our channels and our videos and streams, but this is our first live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has blown up. This is definitely different from when we made the first video.
It's different from just it's different from just doing this beforehand and then showing it to you retroactively, knowing that people are actively looking at their monitor, seeing the both of us as we are right now.
Exposed.
That's a completely different experience. It may look the same after the fact, but they are not the same in practice. Not at all. But
While you're picking a different topic, I want to ask you a quick question. Do you prefer the circle donuts or the long johns? And I know that's a weird question to ask, but I mean, like, which one do you prefer? Or do you prefer donut holes?
I prefer my circles. I prefer my circles. Circles.
All right. I don't know.
The sort that stereotypical lazy cops stuff their face with.
Yeah.
Like what's his name from The Simpsons?
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, from The Simpsons.
Wish I could remember his name.
Gosh, yeah, I can't remember his name at all.
Simpsons got a lot of characters.
Yeah,
they got a lot of characters.
Okay, well, I'm sorry for distracting you from picking the next hot topic to talk about, but that was just something that was lingering in the back of my head. Do you also like the sprinkles, or do you just prefer the glazed donuts?
Give or take, as long as the sprinkles aren't in excess, enough space between each sprinkle.
I am not a sprinkle guy. I genuinely do not like sprinkles sometimes.
Genuinely.
Like, I understand, like, the little circle sprinkles that come on, like, confetti cakes, but the sprinkles that you put on top of ice creams, just a no-go.
Yeah.
It's too much sometimes. I definitely understand what you mean. Like, definitely has to be spread out generally, graciously, I should say. Spread out graciously. All right. Well, I'll stop distracting you now, and I'll talk to the live stream while you pick our next hot topic.
We can mosey.
Well, how I got the name Crazy Reptile. There was no story behind that, and I cannot tell you why I chose that name.
I think I have my mind made up on our topic, actually.
All right. What?
I just remembered something from our prior episode.
Oh, what was that?
I was telling you about how chapter 364 of Berserk was the only thing I've ever read that has made me cry.
Uh-oh.
I never told you why.
Oh, you didn't?
I never told you why. I never told you why this chapter of Berserk specifically reduced me to tears.
Hold on. Spoiler alert. We'll give you about like 5 seconds.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Click off or mute if you don't want anything for Berserk spoiled. Read for yourself. It is worth it, but viewer discretion advised. It's not safe for work. But the final chapter of Berserk was the revelation of one of the saga's longest-running mysteries. Earlier on, in one of the prior sagas, the Millennium Falcon, there was a character introduced called the Moonlight Child. It was this still expression boy that only appeared on the moonlight, and he's always appearing in front of Guts in the party. We see him 2 times before this chapter, but on this third occasion, we finally get his revelation. But before the revelation came, he spent time with Guts in the party. He's socializing with all of them. He's socializing with Isidro. He's one of Guts' understudies. Shirke, this little girl with a witch hat who knows magic. Farnese, who gets the best redemption arc in the entire saga. Her brother Serpico, who's one of the coolest dudes ever. And Casca, who's Guts' love interest, who went through this entire PTSD ordeal.
Oh,
yeah.
Some of the stuff that you told me in that, I can definitely see why she has PTSD.
Yeah, Berserk has been in publication since 1989. It took 20 years for this ordeal with Casca to be resolved. 20 years. And here you see all of them enjoying their time with the Moonlight Child, except for Guts. He watches them from a distance because if he gets too close, he will trigger Casca's PTSD. And after seeing that guy fight as hard as he did and suffer as much as he had, for him to not be able to enjoy anything that he's worked for, that hurts.
That does hurt.
Later on in the chapter, he gets this moment of training. He takes off his enchanted armor, the Berserker armor, and he tries swinging his sword. Only halfway through his swing, he lets go. So he's taken aback by this. So he tries using one of his daggers and throwing it on an apple on a nearby tree, only he misses. Without the armor, he can't perform basic functionality anymore. In other words, he isn't like he used to. He's not the same sort of high octane, rageful black swordsman that he used to be.
Isn't he like up there in age as well?
No, he's 24. He's
What?
24.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's 24 and he's suffered all that much. He's went through this entire ordeal. What I love about Berserk so much is that it shows you the exact sort of toll that an adventure like this would have on a real human being. Guts at the beginning of the story, although the art style was a lot more simpler than it is now, he looked youthful, spry. You could imagine him being this vicious and this violent, but seeing him now, he looks so unbelievably tired. And after this moment where he fails to throw the knife and fails to hold his sword, he finds the Moonlight Child wearing his armor.
Oh no.
Yeah, he finds the child wearing his armor. So he fidgets around with him, and the Moonlight Child holds up a stick at him like he's playing with a sword. And Guts, rather than discourage him, decides to encourage him. So he picks up a stick of his own, and they have a cute little pretend sword fight.
Aww.
Yeah. Then he sends the Moonlight Child back to Casca, and he does not join him. But later, as the day turns to night again, when the moonlight begins to vanish, we hear the Moonlight Child finally talk. Yeah. The Moonlight Child had been absent when it came to speaking for his entire duration as a character. And as he's beginning to talk, he begins to reveal more about himself. I can still remember the last line vividly. He had a dream on nights with a full moon that he became as a babe. And he was longing for a familiar warmth, but one that would vanish as soon as the full moon came, like a teardrop in morning's dew. And then we get the revelation. The Moonlight Child is two people at the same time. The first is the main villain of the saga, Griffith. He is the Moonlight Child. And we later remember that he shares a body with this infant that he corrupted. Guts and Casca had a son, one that he purged with this demonic curse to not be able to live a normal life. He stole this child's body, but at the same time has to share it whenever the moon turns full. And the reason that the Moonlight Child keeps returning to Guts and Casca is because it longs to feel the warmth of its parents. And that absolutely crushed me.
No!
The final panel of the chapter was Griffith, someone who, after his demonic transformation, said he has shed his last tear, crying. And that was the last panel that the original author, Kentaro Miura, ever drew.
That's... Oh.
Can you blame me for crying? Can you blame me for crying?
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Ember.
Thank you.
Ember put down the name of the Simpson that
Thank
we was
you.
thinking of.
Chief Wiggum.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, he's Ralph's father, I remember.
yeah, I was like, ugh. Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Holy. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to check something real quick.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Even without reading it, just hearing any of its context, that's beautiful.
Oh, man.
You know, I wouldn't have minded in the slightest if this was where Berserk ended for good.
No, that would have been like the saddest but like greatest cliffhanger.
So poignant.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that gives fans a chance to write like, hey, does eventually do they find the way to cure the curse? Did he finally embraces his mother and father?
Can Guts finally have a normal
Oh.
life for once?
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
that is some heavy stuff.
The one man who had the answers thankfully had enough foresight to share those answers with his dedicated staff at Studio Gaga. Thankfully, Studio Gaga has continued publication of Berserk. There used to be a point in time where Berserk would go sometimes 2 years in between chapters. Like Vagabond, it went on hiatuses frequently. Like the biggest culprit for that was its shift from traditional artwork to computer artwork. But despite that, the amount of chapters that is released since chapter 364 is 13, and I couldn't be more grateful to Studio Gaga. I couldn't be more grateful to any of them. When all said and done, when they finally give in Berserk the finale they want to give it, the one that they want to give to honor the person who gave them this in the first place. I hope that they take up their own creative endeavors. I'd support it wholeheartedly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially how everything is.
Yeah.
Oh, that. Oh man, that one. That was a lot.
Yeah.
And whew, let me say, when, especially as a dad myself, it just breaks my heart. It absolutely just weeps. And I'm like so mad now that you told me this, because now I gotta wait until they continue on and figure all this stuff out. I'm like,
yeah, what? There have been 13 chapters across the past 2 years since Berserk finally returned to publication. It doesn't seem like much, but compared to the way that it was beforehand, it's so much more. At the same time, I am not complaining in the slightest. Berserk is Berserk. I'm grateful that they're not going full steam ahead, that they're taking their time, they're being careful, meticulous.
And that's what most animation studios should do, instead of rushing, burn out, be gone, take hiatus for years on end, because then they lose interest, they lose viewers.
Yeah, just look at Studio Mappa, for instance.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they need a union. They need a union.
They, let me say, like, raise a glass to freedom to them.
Here's one for you.
But I guess it's now my turn to pick a topic. If you don't mind talking to our lovely viewers.
To our lovely viewers, however many of you there may be, I couldn't thank you enough for coming here and spending your time with the both of us. As people behind an endeavor such as this, it means a lot to have an audience in the first place, let alone one that's willing to spend time indulging in what we have to offer. And we wish to offer you so much more from here on out, however much we can give.
Let's talk about some of the animes that we're currently watching.
Yeah, all right.
And some of the things that we plan on watching.
Yeah.
I know the spoilers and stuff at this point. If you're still here, you're here to the end.
At this point, we might as well punt the spoiler warning. You're in the deep end.
Well, I want to first say thank you, Ember, for letting us know about the Simpson character. It means a lot. The current anime that I'm watching is The Detective That's Already Dead.
The Detective That's Already Dead. This is my first hearing of it.
Yeah, this is on Crunchyroll. Obviously, it's a detective, so it's a mystery / romance. It's pretty subtle with the romance, but eventually at the end, it's that kind of romance. At the end, they're most likely going to get together. Something's going to happen. It's really good. It's a lot of sci-fi though, so if you're expecting just mystery and romance, this is not for you. It's the trilogy of my top 3. I wouldn't say top 3. It's a trilogy of at least the top 5 things I would love to see in the movie. And the fact that you get to watch it and all this stuff, how she gets to some of these things, a normal person can come up to these things. It's not like, in My Hero Academia, it's because they use their quirks or something. These are logical conclusions to get to the answer. And the saying that this main character says, that a great detective already sets up the case. What comes to mind when you hear that?
I kind of think of Detective Conan whenever I hear that.
Okay.
Detective Conan, like One Piece, is a 1,000 plus anime.
Oh, good gravy.
Yeah, but here's the difference between Detective Conan and One Piece. One Piece is only 8% filler. Detective Conan, 45% filler.
Okay, so there's a lot that you can...
There's plenty you can skip in Detective Conan, but the fact that there's over 1,100 episodes means you really have to navigate. Otherwise, you're going to miss something important. And that's kind of frustrating.
I meant the quote.
The quote?
Yeah, a great detective sets up their own case.
Yeah, that reminds me a lot of Detective Conan.
What comes to my mind when I hear that is when you're expecting something, you set it up beforehand. Like you plan to succeed. And that's why that I keep watching this anime, especially because it's like I want to figure out how this is being done.
Of course, the best part of a mystery is looking forward to the resolution of it.
Yeah, and I'm like, if these are conclusions that normal people can, figure out, why can't I not give it a shot? And this is just, to keep my mind engaged and going. But there's also, romance and then action, sci-fi. There's a lot of other things out there. But that's the main one that I'm watching. What about you currently?
Currently, I've taken to watching two specific anime from one of the greatest that ever was, who had recently departed us. Akira Toriyama had worked on two anime. He worked on a manga named Sandland that has recently received both a video game and anime adaptation.
I think you showed me it.
I might have showed you the trailer for Sandland. It was accompanied, thankfully, they had enough common sense to give Darude Sandstorm the backing track to it.
Okay.
That was such a pro gamer move. Such a pro gamer move. Like, people ask for the name of the song, it's typically Darude Sandstorm. But aside from Sandland, I've also been watching an oldie but a goodie, one that brought all the memories back, Blue Dragon. That was from Akira Toriyama. And looking at its art style, I don't know how I didn't see it sooner. But here's the thing about Blue Dragon. I recently discovered the version of it that was airing on Cartoon Network on Saturday mornings was not the version they were airing in Japan.
Absolutely. Have you not realized
there was so much censorship?
Yeah,
you are not going to believe the amount of censorship that is in its company. And watching the Cartoon Network broadcast, you can get a feeling that something is missing.
Yeah.
Then you see Japan's broadcast, and then you realize exactly what was missing.
Yeah, no.
Some of it isn't safe for work.
Yeah, absolutely. But USA has censored a lot, especially if it's coming from Japan.
Standards can be a bit different on different sides of the globe.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's kind of funny to see some of these things that have been switched and stuff.
Yeah, some of the amount of changes would have made you think this was a 4Kids production.
Yeah, and speaking of Dragon Ball, or
on the subject of Akira,
Sparkling Zero.
Sparking Zero, oh baby!
If you guys have not seen it, it looks like an amazing Dragon Ball Z game.
It looks like the perfect anime fighter.
But I really hope that not really everything, 90% of what we see is what we can do.
Yeah.
I don't know. There is a game that showed a lot. Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
That was the game that showed a lot.
and then gave us less
Yeah,
than what
yeah.
we were expecting,
Couldn't do it.
at least on launch. I mean, thankfully, patches have compensated for some of that, but you got to give the people what you are selling them. That is important. It's kind of why Square Enix decided to basically scrap the original version of Final Fantasy XIV, the MMO, and replace it with Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, which has been probably the most played MMO of all time.
Yeah. Love to hear that.
It is actually the best-selling Final Fantasy of all time. It somehow managed to triumph the Herculean mountain of Final Fantasy VII, and in later years was joined by my beloved 15 in that pantheon.
You know,
But
we have a lot of things that come suck.
it all comes back to Final Fantasy 15.
It's because you keep making it come back.
I keep seeing the strings. I pull on them.
Ah.
I pull on the strings.
The strings are there, so I don't even blame you.
The
Grab
strings
what
are
you
there.
need.
I'll grab what I see. Actually, I shouldn't. Nobody should grab everything that they see. Take that with a grain of salt, kids. Pinch that stuff. Pinch the salt. I'm making a mess of this. Good gravy.
We about to get banned.
They're gonna kick us swiftly.
They're gonna be like, all right, we're gonna have to check out the
Yeah.
other channel.
Sparking Zero. I need to get what they're selling from that. They cannot. This is the first Dragon Ball game since the great Akira Toriyama has left us. They cannot miss. At least I know for a fact that the character roster is going to be the biggest a Dragon Ball game has had since Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
So, speaking of Sparking Zero, are you gonna get like the early access and all that extra stuff?
I
with it?
typically wait at the bare minimum a month or two because, like I said, I need to see that what we are getting is what they are selling.
Oh, you
That
don't
is
want to be
important.
the first few gamers that be like, let's go.
I'll just get it when I get it. Nothing
No,
more.
no, that's fair and all.
That's
That
fair.
I was just trying to.
The same will probably be true of the other love letter to Akira Toriyama. Dropping this fall will be what they are calling an HD 2D remake of Dragon Quest III.
Yeah, I have yet to play Dragon Quest, and I gave you the game.
I played Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age, but I stopped when I made a horrible discovery. There was a second version of the game called Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age S. In this version, you can actually change the characters' outfits.
Oh no!
In this
Oh,
version, you can
no.
also travel with every single party member at once rather than seeing just the main character at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing, there was the option for the soundtrack, which is on 16-bit, to be replaced with orchestral versions that are magnificent, bombastic, unbelievable, absolute ecstasy to the ears. I was so discouraged. I was discouraged by this and one other thing. The octopus boss battle.
Those tentacles got him, man. Those tentacles got him. Those tentacles.
Not only do those tentacles get me, but no matter how much I level up, it's never enough to stop him. Why did they do that?
We're gonna get a strike.
They didn't have to do that to me.
You okay there? You gotta
Just recovering a bit
recover from those tentacles.
from the memories of them. Yeah. But
It's not that funny.
aside from that, the HD 2D remake of Dragon Quest III will later be joined by a couple of siblings. See, they got remakes planned for Dragon Quest II and 1. Why they're releasing the entire original trilogy backwards, you tell me. You tell me.
Maybe those tentacles got him.
Come on.
It's not funny. I just find it hilarious for some reason.
The octopus.
Okay. Okay. I need to walk it off. Pick a different
needs to
topic.
walk this off. He needs to walk that off. At least the one thing you'll never have to worry about with Dragon Quest is its combat being anything other than turn-based.
No, I didn't walk it off. Okay, I'm coming back.
Pull yourself together.
I don't know why I can't stop laughing. I'm not even laughing at the joke anymore. I'm just laughing.
Does anyone have Edna Mode on speed dial? He needs to pull himself together.
You know, like when you're about to see something or hear something funny, your brain just wants to start chuckling at it. I think that's what's happening, but I'm having a late reaction with all my jokes.
That actually reminds me. I don't use Reddit, save for one subreddit, the one dedicated to Batman Arkham.
Okay. Well, where is this going?
Are you aware of the absolute lunacy that the Batman Arkham subreddit has devolved into?
No, I do not know.
Well, this is what happens when you don't get a new game for over 9 years.
Also, like, not having a new anime, no game, no life.
For those of you who know of this subreddit, know what you're in for. Just created this new character. What should I name him? And then it's just a dog with white patches over its eyes.
If you want a full screening, you could probably show it to the camera.
Alrighty then.
I was like, I can't really do anything. It doesn't have a bigger version.
Yeah, it doesn't have a bigger version.
But yeah, you guys get the gist.
You could always go to the subreddit yourself, but I'm going to read some of them off. You've killed John Cler. What's your death screen quote?
Actually, you could probably share this in the comment section so they can actually go to it.
Yeah, we actually should do that, though.
Or,
we can also do that retroactive. Oh, some of the non-degenerates, some of the non-lunatics, they actually posted the final voice line by the great Kevin Conroy as Batman. For those of you who don't know, Kevin Conroy was the official voice of Batman for over 30 years. It started in 1993's Batman the Animated Series, and it continued on into several projects afterwards. Whenever I read a DC comic at all, it is always Kevin's voice that I'm reading him with. And after his death in 2022, it seemed like his final role was going to be in Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
In that game, Kevin Conroy's Batman is given a disrespectful death, like you would not believe.
Yeah, I'll let you continue, and then I'll add on what I want to
Yeah,
add.
but thankfully, it was not his last role as Batman. That would come with the third installment of the Crisis on Infinite Earths trilogy. I'm going to turn up the volume on this.
Can't do that. That would be a copyright. That's why I suggested to put the link.
Yeah, I could just do that, but it can't be bad to play just the audio, can it?
Do you really want to risk it on a live stream?
I mean, this isn't me showing the movie itself. It's
but it's also called copyright for a reason. It's like you can't just put down a song and just have it on there. I mean, we'll play the first 15 seconds. Okay.
There's only 19 seconds.
Okay, well, we'll do the first 10 seconds.
Okay.
Whatever he.
Actually, we should do the last 10 seconds because that's when he says the line.
Okay.
All right. Turn your volume up. I want you to hear this.
End of a task day. At least I go out like this. Being Batman.
And if it has to end, at least I go out like this. Being Batman.
Speaking of
Rest in peace,
Suicide Squad, I watched a little clip of it.
Suicide Squad Isekai?
Yeah, when
oh goodness,
Harley Quinn gets to kill Batman, she does something
yeah.
something totally ridiculous, and it was actually because of the cartoon or animated series, is when she carries him over the shoulders because he did that in the alternate universe. And I was like, what an actual like Easter egg to have in a game.
That's insane.
Yeah, I was like, that is such a good Easter egg. I would have never caught it. Like, granted, I never watched the full series in a row to be like, haha.
I've only played Batman Arkham Origins and Arkham Knight. Actually, on Arkham Knight, I 240%ed all 4 available save slots. I can't believe I dedicated myself to that. And it took a lot less time than I thought it would.
I mean, what's the average game time on it, though?
The average game time on it, that depends on... that really depends on how good one is at the game itself.
See, I was like, that's probably the key feature because
Yeah.
if it doesn't have like a, say, like a lot of gaming content into it to make it a long game to get to 100%,
Yeah.
it's going to be kind of easier to do what you did. Granted,
Yeah.
if I played the game, it might have taken me a little longer than.
Going at least 100% on Batman Arkham Knight is absolutely worth it, though.
No, that's understandable. I think it's actually your turn to pick a topic because I think you picked last. But you know,
Well, I did just talk about that Reddit.
oh no, that's perfectly fine. We're about an hour in. Do you want to start wrapping up soon, or you want to keep going a little long?
How about we do that Gen Z test? Just to cap it off.
Yeah, we'll do the Gen Z test. I'm gonna take the computer real quick.
Make sure to use the mouse too. That's important.
All right. Oh God, I gotta remember how I set up this Gen Z test.
Did you set up this Gen Z?
Well, it was supposed to be a BuzzFeed thing, so like
BuzzFeed.
yeah, I was like BuzzFeed.
BuzzFeed.
Okay. Take this.
That reminds me of that one viral video, 36 questions for men.
I really don't want to know what kind of questions that had.
You really don't. You really don't. It's borderline misogynistic, if not totally misogynistic. For those of you in the crowd who know what misogynistic means, you're my new best friend.
All right. It looks like it's a time thing. So I'm gonna show you the question, and you can pick the answer, and I'm gonna select. So, which fast food surprisingly sold pizza? There is Wendy's, KFC, McDonald's, and Subway.
KFC started selling pizza recently. However, I know for a fact Subway had those flat pizzas.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, so we'll click that.
McDonald's?
McDonald's started selling pizza in 1989.
What
if you
the-
didn't know that, you know that now.
What the fudge?
All right, which fast food restaurant sold Cinnamonies?
Cinnamonies. Between the options McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell, kind of feeling Taco Bell on this one.
Taco Bell's?
It was Burger
Burger
King.
King.
Ah,
Gosh, they started selling those in 1998.
1998, the year of our Lord Michael Jordan.
Good gravy. Which fast food restaurant sold fresh stuffed
Pitas?
pizzas? Wendy's, Pizza Hut, Arby's, Domino's.
I'm feeling Arby's on this. It was Wendy's.
Jesus, are you gonna get one right? How many questions are there?
Let's see where we go from.
Oh, good gravy. There's a lot.
There's plenty.
All right. I know the answer to this one. Which fast food restaurant sold French toaster breakfast sandwiches? Arby's, Checkers, Burger King, Sonic.
It has to be Burger King.
The answer is Sonic.
It's Sonic.
I knew that one.
You're too slow.
I answered, I go there too much. Which fast food restaurant sold Cupcake Shake?
Cupcake shake.
Dairy Queen, Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme, or Burger King?
I'm going to answer Dairy Queen because I want to see if they sell it.
It was Burger King.
It was
apparently.
Burger King.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Well, I guess that's all the questions.
Shoot, that's all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we could do another
We
one.
could always do another round.
Yeah,
See what.
let's do another one and we'll try to work together.
How about we roll this until I get one of these jerks right?
All right, which fast food restaurant serve chicken fajita?
Chicken fajitas.
Dunkin's, McDonald's, Burger King, or Subway?
The most outrageous to me would be Dunkin'.
All right, is that?
I'm gonna choose Dunkin'.
It's probably Burger King.
It's McDonald's. I had a hunch, but I
Okay.
wanted it to be Dunkin'.
Oh, you know this one. Which restaurant sold fresh
Stuffed pizzas.
pizzas? Come on, you just
On the nose pizza.
Top is Wendy's.
It was my biggest.
All right,
Shoot!
Cinnamonies, you know this
I can't get this wrong. It is Burger King after all.
Woo! All right.
It is Burger King.
All right. We already asked that one. We already know.
We already know McDonald's did
Yeah.
pizza.
We already know this one.
We already know
Honestly.
Sonic did the toaster stuff.
Okay. Which fast food restaurant released Arch Deluxe Burger?
Arch Deluxe Burger.
Charles Jr., Jack in the Box, Hot Pies, and McDonald's. McDonald's come on a lot.
I want to say Jack in the Box. It's
It's
McDonald's.
Jesus Christ.
Gosh.
Which
Damn.
restaurant served salad shakers?
Solid shakers.
Taco
kidding
Bell,
me?
Hardee's, Subway, or McDonald's? I think, in all honesty, I think it's Hardee's.
I'm feeling Hardee's. Let's do our
McDonald's
again.
What? When did they do that? I wasn't even born yet in April of 2000s.
April 2000s. Yeah.
Which restaurant served
The
Yeah,
enormous
enormous
omelet
omelet
sandwich.
Pizza Hut, Dairy Queen, Sonic, or Burger King?
I think this will be Burger King. If it's that big.
I think I was gonna be.
If it's that big.
You said Burger King.
I said Burger King.
I'm thinking Dairy Queen.
It is Burger King.
I'm wrong. Okay. Well, which restaurant served the brownie sandwich?
McDonald's does a birthday cake as well.
Probably a birthday cake shake.
Probably a birthday cake shake.
Which one serves a brownie sandwich?
Brownie sandwich.
Taco Bell, Subway.
Ah,
Out of
time's
time. All right.
Darn.
Well, you got a few. We definitely did a lot better. Especially,
This was an improvement over last time.
oh yeah, much more of an improvement.
Yeah. Especially with the ones that we got before.
Well, I think we should wrap it up here. Thank you guys for stopping on by.
We can't thank you enough for being with us.
Please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. No cake.
No cake. The cake is a lie.
Cake is a lie.
The cake is a lie.
Well, HD Senergy signing out.